12:06 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. It's Wednesday. That means it's Joe Steckler Day, helping seniors of Brevard. And here's the host of your show, Joe Steckler. Hi, Joe.
Hi, John, and thank you, listeners, for listening to us today to Helping Seniors. We're going to do a two-part show today. The first part of the show is with Kelly McDavid-Rallis from the Home Health Care Resources Corporation. That's the longest title of any sponsor we have, I think. I'm going to check it for numbers of vowels and consonants when I get back to the office. But the second part of the show is going to be with Chris Morse, who is with our travel club. So we decided that we would do a two-part show today so we could concentrate a little bit more on each aspect of the show. And I wish to remind you that Helping Seniors, the purpose of our organization is to form, educate, and connect seniors and those that care for seniors with resources available in the community. And before we even start the show this morning with Kelly, I want just to quickly mention that I don't care how many times we talk about the word scam, they're there. I was contacted through a friend at church that they used her messenger account, made it very, very realistic, worked on me for about a 2.5 month period. I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody about it, but since I didn't involve giving a bank password or Social Security or anything like that, I just sort of played along and told them how much I needed and everything, and they came back. And the first key to it was, if you send this much money, you can get this much. If you send this much, you can get this much. And gave me batch numbers and everything else. But if you look carefully, they use different words than what we normally would associate, like they call me Mr. Joe. People, I mean, I've got a 10-year-old girl that calls me that, but you just got to be aware. And these people just don't do this overnight. They work on you. They work on you for months at a time. And the key is, if they ever ask you for a bank account, Social Security number, or ask you to send them money to cover the cost of getting the money to you, break it off. Don't go with them. When I went back to check this morning after I alerted the family of the woman, they had taken down every page over the last 3 months. So I have no record. I was not smart enough to print it. And I'm mad at myself because I didn't do that. Of course, I've talked to the police before, and there's so much of this, they don't do anything. Enough of that. Kelly may even have something about that she might want to talk about. Kelly, how about telling our listeners, you're one of our newest sponsors, and you have, I think it's remarkable, your background and what you've done and what you're trying to do. It's something I envy a person that tries to start a network of companies that help seniors. So I think this is something that please tell our listeners so that they can spread the word. That's the purpose of a radio show.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here and be able to share with like minds and be able to work together with Helping Seniors of Brevard to put our community first. First of all, I have 34 years in working with the senior population. I started out as a candy striper in Winter Haven Hospital, so I'm a local native Floridian. Through there, I have built some reputations in private ALFs, dealing with special needs, Agency for Persons with Disabilities, for over 10 years. I also went into a group to working with the military that helps develop patient simulators to help resuscitate and bring back to life our persons in distress, working with our doctors from Mayo, Cleveland Clinic, Nova, helping them to train on medical simulations so that they're more advanced in the procedure rooms to help everyone have better outcomes. I also worked with a large spine organization working with people in severe pain, our population of those that are just absolutely miserable, seeking all levels of resources, helping to manage teams of physical therapists as well, just so that we get a full gamut of a range of services that a senior could benefit from. And then I got to partner and open the office that we have now that serves all of Brevard, Orange, Osceola, and Seminole County Home Health Care Resources Corp. We also, in addition to our office, I am the third office to open in Florida under Home Health Care Resources Corp. We serve South Florida, the West Palm Beach and surrounding counties. We also serve Port Charlotte, Sarasota, Fort Myers. So altogether, we're serving 15 counties here in Florida. But my passion and my love has been in Brevard, just through research as trying to find information for seniors locally. I found Helping Seniors of Brevard.
Well, you found the best county in Florida anyway, because there's 67 counties here, and there's none of them that can compare with Brevard. So, I have to say that because I've lived over a lot of places, and Brevard is a wonderful, wonderful place to live. Kerry is nodding behind his, he's got one of those A95 masks on, I think, don't you?
Well, it's a mask. As you know, when we live in COVID times, we're all sitting here. We're doing our best with the social distancing and trying to keep everybody safe. And I know we did a Helping Seniors update with Kelly just probably a week or so maybe back, and we were talking about this, that one of the things that seems to be coming up through all of this is that when we take all of these precautions correctly and we do everything that they're asking us to do, you guys have been very successful at keeping seniors safe, even as we're navigating all of this time.
Well, I started preparing in February, and that was the greatest inspiration that I had, the insight to the need and what it was going to be, was I started to prepare and started to order and obtain PPE equipment so that in the event we could definitely maintain services on the front line. And, we really talked about a lot on the update was really just about everyday things that we should be using and doing and implementing. And, is this the new norm, or do we always just need to go back to what universal precautions are? And as long as we're utilizing the universal precaution standards, then we're going to be safe. I mean, that's why they were invented, for people who had HIV, MRSA, C. diff, and those things that had more contagions associated with them and their symptoms. So we utilize, and we're enhancing our standard of universal precautions, and we definitely want to tell the community more about it so that everyone can stay safer in this time of uncertainty.
Well, what are some of the things, Kelly, that you did?
Well, one of the things that we did was we retrained everybody on hand washing technique, working with sanitary soiled items, having them get COVID training, making sure that, we're implementing in-service trainings for our caregivers in-house, going into the homes and providing a PPE starter kit for each family that we're serving, and making sure that the caregivers also have enough. We went out and, when things were getting low on hand sanitizer, where are the breweries that are making hand sanitizer? How do we get these supplies into the homes of people? I literally drove around, and every time I was in a different city or a smaller city, I would go get bleach and wipes and toilet paper so that I kept extra supplies. And if I went into a home that didn't have anything, I could also leave a care package.
Have you heard recent? Well, I'll say what I heard. I saw it. It was either yesterday or today, and I can't remember. There's a thing out about the hand sanitizer, and that there's so many. There must be something like 70 types that contain methanol, and they have to be very careful about and read the labels on what's in these hand sanitizers. You just can't go in and buy a bottle of stuff and just squeeze it in your hands. You have any comments on that, Kelly?
We sure do, because we're connected to our vital healthcare resources, CDC, Florida Department of Health, the FDA. I got the alert immediately and was able to pass that on to my caregivers and families and friends in my community as well, and letting people know of the awareness. Also, too, you can tell some of the stuff that they were using with butyl and a variety of things, like it smelled funny. And so I was advising people to get alcohol. And, aloe, you definitely help to make your own, but make sure that your isopropyl is 70% or greater. And just get it every time you can get it. If you can only get one bottle, get it. And then that's your greatest resource, because you can even make a spray bottle and put your alcohol in there with just a little bit of water and just mist your hands and the surfaces, and that will last so much longer than a thick substance of like a gel-like material.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
And it was cheaper. Instead of paying $6 for 2 ounces of hand sanitizer gel, why not just get a bottle of alcohol, dilute it a little bit, and have a spray?
I think one of the biggest awakenings that this whole coronavirus thing has brought out in this hand washing business is the fact that it's actually the length of the time that the soap is on the hands, that the chemical substance in the soap tends to break down the germs on the hands, and that's why it's so important. And I know my wife, as she's listening to this, is saying, this is funny, Joe's talking about this, because he always washes his hands quickly. But that 20-second hand washing is really working your hands through the soap, not just soaping and washing it off.
You want to lather, and you want to get a really good lather going, and you want to sing the happy birthday song twice. You want that warm water, the warmer the better, that you can stand it, ensuring to get the insides of your palms and the sides, outsides of your hands. Those are the areas that we tend to miss, even when they do studies under, special lighting to see what areas have been missed. The areas on the outside, behind your pinky, and also the center of your palms are the most likely places that we will miss when we wash.
Wow. Kerry, you're doing a lot of...
I was looking at my hand trying to figure out, am I doing this right?
You're doing it right.
Well, I hope so. But, we have talked about this over and over. And in fact, now that you're reminding me that when we did the Helping Seniors update, it was interesting because in the background of the call with Kelly, she had this whole little cluster of cleaning products. And she said, this is like the most important thing. And Joe, we've talked about this over and over, is that the CDC guidelines and the things the governor's office has put out about staying safe from coronavirus really haven't changed much. And the people that I can see that are connected with Helping Seniors take it really seriously. And because of that, it seems like when we do the right things, we're able to stay safe and weather this COVID thing out.
Well, you have to also think about flu season. I mean, what are we doing during, influenza? And is those types of things that we would do for flu season the same as we're going to do for COVID? Or, are we surrounded by someone who has compromised health issues, and maybe we've been in a high exposure area of we have a little one in daycare, or maybe we work in a facility with seniors, or we've been visiting as someone in a senior facility. What are we doing during those times to take cautions and when we expose ourselves to someone with high risk? Those are the same things that we need to implement now. And that's how we get back to normalcy in our life, is just remembering those little things that we can do: the hand washing, covering our mouth when we cough, throwing away tissues, keeping things washed and clean at home, and surfaces clean, and our homes more than tidy, but actually sanitized. Those are the things that we need to continue doing every day, and that's how we get back to normal, is just remembering those procedures.
Kelly, since you've worked in hospitals and you have these companies in you have a responsibility to look at a lot of things. A question I have, and I think probably a lot of listeners might have the same question: how safe is it to buy takeout food? What do you really think about that? My wife and I last night, I think of the first time we stopped at our favorite Beef O'Brady's and got a couple of takeouts and brought them home. We thoroughly enjoyed them. It was different. We hadn't done it for months, and we used to go there every week for the same thing because we really liked it. But how safe you really, from a caregiver point of view, how safe do you really think that the takeout food really is?
Well, restaurants have to have special standards and guidelines that they must follow to remain open. There are safety inspections that are done, and also making sure the proper protocols are implemented, which is the mask, the gloves. Prior to this, they weren't mandatory to wear masks, and in some places, maybe they didn't have to wear gloves in when they were touching and transporting the food preparations. But what I want to say, that some things you can do to help ease your mind, give you extra security, is transfer your food out of the to-go container, put it on your plate. Dispose of that in the garbage. Make sure your food is at optimum temperature. Don't let it sit out, and let it get cold, because then you welcome breeding ground for bacteria back into your food. So as long as you're using some of those safety precautions, you're relatively safe. Also, too, don't be afraid to ask if has your establishment had a recent COVID finding, and if they have, then, you obviously use discretion. But maybe they have implemented where everyone in the restaurant now has been tested. And there is more safety guidelines in that. But just make sure, always too, one of the greatest things you can do that I love to do is to check the restroom. Make sure the restrooms are clean, so that everyone has a sanitary place to wash their hands and take care of their personal needs. And if they're not and you find something unsanitary, please let the managers know. Give them an opportunity to make it right.
Well, yeah, because you can wash your hands till you're blue in the face, and if you walk out of a bathroom and touch a dirty door latch, you recontaminated yourself.
Always use a paper towel, and I always keep a few napkins and things like that with me in the event things like that aren't available.
That's knowing some of the tricks of the trade.
That's what keeps us safe, and you guys sharing this with the community and letting everyone know, it keeps us all safe.
Yeah, I just did my article for Hometown News, and it'll go to the other papers too. But it's about seniors and seniors knowing what faith, friends, and family can mean in a time of a pandemic such as this. But it's equally important to know from a professional caregiver's point of view, what are some of the things that families can do, and how can a company like yours, insert themselves into a family's business in order to help them?
That's the biggest misconception, is that people don't understand or always have all of the understanding with the difference between home health care and home care. We are providing home care services, which are the non-clinical, non-skilled services. So if a family member is out of town, they're not in the same community or in the same, transportation range to visit their loved one often, their senior loved one, they can employ our agency to provide home care services. So that consists of us bringing in a home health care aide that's been certified, a certified nursing assistant that's also been certified, and they have ongoing criteria to meet to be employed with our agency. And we're going to come in and we can do personal care. So if someone has ambulation and transferring issues and they just need some extra support with their showers, things like that, we can come in and help with laundry, keeping the house clean and sanitary, of those things that we said. Maybe someone has mobility issues and they can't bend down, they can't get the baseboards and the edges of the carpets and things like that. Those are all things that we can provide. We can go to the grocery store. We can help you with online grocery order. I know that some of the delivery services out there can be, $20, $30, where our services are like starting at $17 an hour, and we can do shopping, bring it in, reorganize it, and all of that for the same cost of just the delivery fees.
Wow. Kerry's been on his cell phone. Okay, what did you come up with there?
Well, I was actually just reading this handout, which is brilliant, that Kelly and her team have put together. It says it's titled "Caregiving for the Elderly Using Universal Precautions. It Shouldn't Be the New Norm," and it has some really good tips and things in here. And what I was going to ask Kelly is, how can people get a copy of this? Because this is really, I think, good. Keep yourself well, practice physical distancing, but not social isolation. That is so important. How can somebody grab a hold of this?
They can certainly get it from us, and I've also submitted this to be in the next newsletter for helping seniors.
Good information here. I
wanted some consistency. I wanted us to stay on the lines of the same topics, because, again, keeping yourself well, which is avoiding crowds, keep your hands away from your face, wash your hands frequently for soap and water. That's the biggest offense, is if you don't have an antibacterial or disinfectant product, always go to soap and water. Don't just ignore it or let it go and say I don't have the proper cleaning item or agent. Use regular soap, make a soapy substance and mixture in a container of hot soapy water with a cleaning cloth and or use paper towels, and that is suffice. Technology, our caregivers can show you how to video chat with your family using your smartphone, your laptop, your portals, your tablets. We can set up apps on these devices to provide captions for adults with hearing challenges. Maybe you don't have closed captions set up, and or on your tablet or your handheld device, so you can see your family talking, or maybe you can't hear them, but you can read the words. We can literally go through your photo albums, your videotapes to help you remember those special moments together. The holidays are going to be sneaking up on us, and we can't predict what that's going to look like for families being able to travel to see our loved ones. But how do we set our homes up now so that we can still create special memories even though we can't physically see someone?
There was a famous movie star that started these places. Her mother had Alzheimer's. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie star. But she started these Lisa's Places. And she started clubs to capture moments of family, what you're talking about. We're almost out of time for the first half of the show, Kelly. In a short time left, could you give the people how they can contact your company? I'll do it later, but you just give them the phone number. And what are some of you would really like them to remember about what you talked about?
Just want people to realize that we can be back to normal in the midst of a pandemic. If we're utilizing universal precautions and we're keeping things sanitary and remembering the things that we already know to do. And that's the biggest, greatest takeaway from this. It's just that we can continue to live our lives. We just have to make modifications. But that doesn't mean we can't find the same joy.
I think Kelly's hit something right here, folks, and is that we're going to have to change some of the ways we have to live, but if we're smart about it, we don't have to break it all up like we think we might have to if we get the right kind of help that we need, Kelly.
And speaking of the right kind of help, Joe, we can help you at 321-677-2577. Home Healthcare Resources Corp., serving all of Brevard County, is at 321-677-2577.
Thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Kerry, for contributing from behind the white mask.
It's all good.
Okay, thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, guys.
Stay with us. We've got Chris Morse coming up on the second part of the show.
Joe Steckler Day, as we always like to call it. That means it's time for more of Helping Seniors of Brevard. And once again, here's your host, Joe Steckler.
Thank you, John, and welcome to the second half of the show. We had the first part of the show talking about home health care, and Kelly McDavid-Rallis of her company did a great job, and we'll be seeing her more. You can see her on the weekly updates, Kerry. We also archive all those shows we do, and we just archive everything we do so that you can just sit and watch YouTube. You could talk, in just a minute, I'll let you talk, Kerry. You could talk about all that stuff they can watch. But what we want to talk about in the second half of the show is our Helping Seniors Travel Club. And we're fighting some tremendously perilous times right now with the travel industry and a lot of other things that people really, really, really enjoy. And that's one of the reasons why I think Chris reached out to us months ago to form the Helping Seniors Travel Club, and we're still trying to get this thing underway. And I think once we get it underway, a lot of people are going to enjoy the cruises, and once it catches, it catches. Right, Chris?
Yes, absolutely. And hopefully travel will open up in November. I just was talking to the NCL president this morning, believe it or not, and they're postponing their cruises until November 1st, and all the cruise lines will probably do the same thing. So November 1st, we can think about packing our bags and going cruising.
I hate to say it, but I guess since we got a travel club, my wife is going to say, Joe, we got to take a cruise. So that means I got to get my knees operated on so I can walk and don't kill myself trying to get around. I hate to think about it, but I'm going to get one done here this month. And, Kerry, okay, Kerry, go.
Well, I was going to say perfectly for travel. The date that we want to talk about, among other things, I love saying it this way. It's kind of like we have a cool date for the car raffle, 10-10-20-20, but we have a cool date for the first Helping Seniors cruise, which is 2/21/21. So February 21st, 2021, we will be sailing from Port Canaveral, so it's right here at home, 7-night cruise on the beautiful MSC Cruises Seaside. It's a brand new luxury ship just a wonderful cruise line. Tammy and I have been on MSC Cruises for years. It's a great line. And what we're really excited about is, Joe, just what you're talking about. Chris, this is a great place for him to jump in on this. He's an expert at senior travel. So not only are he and Betty experts in senior travel, but they're also special needs certified. And I'll let him talk a little bit about why that's so important as you're doing probably multi-generational traveling.
Yeah, when we decided to join Helping Seniors of Brevard and really support their foundation, we reached out to a lot of the seniors, and some of the seniors said, I just don't feel comfortable. I can't travel. I have this ailment or I have this disability. And we were able to talk to them, and some of them now are even traveling. We are special needs certified, so take example of Joe. Joe, when you have your knee surgery, I will make sure that you have all the right equipment that you need when you get on board the ship, so you experience a really nice, comfortable ride, getting in and out of the different venues that the cruise ships have. So we want to make sure that even if you think you can't travel, you can travel with Helping Seniors of Brevard Travel Club.
All you'd have to do, Chris, is sit me down next to one of those buffets I keep hearing about, and I think I thoroughly enjoy the cruise. But I'd probably get sick. I always remember before I went up to the top of the Eiffel Tower in Paris many years ago, this another officer and I had taken a group of midshipmen to Paris on a summer cruise, and made the mistake of eating a bunch of chocolate sweets and coffee at a sidewalk cafe, and then going to that doggone Eiffel Tower. And I found out that the bathrooms were on a second level, and it was a very windy day, and I sure didn't like that.
Well, an interesting thing for you, Joe, and Chris to talk about is you have spent so much of your career under the seas, and this will be an opportunity for you to enjoy life topside. Chris, I don't know if you know, but Joe was a submarine commander in the Navy.
Yeah, he mentioned that before, yes. How exciting that is.
It was exciting. It was a nice, quiet ride. It was much quieter. I spent time on aircraft carriers, destroyers, and cruisers, and it was a lot rockier on the surface. I'll take my submarine.
Well, we were talking about traveling today in the COVID-19 pandemic, and we had some nice information on our first segment. But the hotels are now opening up, so you can travel to a hotel in the nearby city if you want to. All the hotels now are CDC certified, which means that they go through the hotel and the rooms and make sure they're very clean. And as I was telling Kerry earlier, your hotel room at your favorite hotel will be now cleaner than your home. So they're really trying to do a great job. And that's going to happen on the cruise ships. Cruise ships are going to have new filter systems. They're going through the cabin twice a day. They're wiping down the main areas of the cruise ship 2 or 3 times a day. They're checking for temperature. And one of the really good things is that the CDC was really worrying about if there's somebody that is suspected of having COVID on board the ship, they will have certain cabins on board the ship to put those people in to monitor them just in case they have it. And if they do, they'll keep away from the population. So they're going to make it a really interesting way to travel. Joe, on your buffet, you won't be able to get the food anymore, but they'll be served to you as you go through the buffet.
Wait. They're not going to have buffets on them?
They'll have buffets, but you can't grab. They're going to serve you what you want.
Oh, you just like pick and choose them.
Yes.
You point, they put it on your plate.
Yes, yes.
Do they really have a dessert bar with a lot of ice cream and stuff on it?
They surely do.
Rum raisin ice cream?
We can ask for that to be delivered to you. Absolutely. You just have to let me know.
That's my favorite. They got a great rum raisin ice cream at Publix. There's a plug for Publix if you like rum raisin ice cream. They've got great ice cream there.
Well,
Okay,
that's
back to travel.
That's one of the things we've been talking about. So much of what we do talk about on the Helping Seniors front is, very serious issues. Many times it can be close to life and death and some of those things. And, we're dealing with weighty problems. So this is actually one of the moments we get to have sort of the lighter side because the travel is such a fun aspect. And yet the way that Chris has been able to structure the Helping Seniors Travel Club, not only can you have the fun of joining a bunch of people from Brevard County and sailing together with all of us on February 21st, 2021. But he and Betty are great resources for any kind of travel. Maybe you're thinking of a land package or some other kind of thing. You give them a call because the way they've been able to work it out with the suppliers then, they can match anything you find on the internet, but part of the funding then comes back to fund the work of helping seniors. So by taking the travel that you would probably take anyway, when you book it through the Helping Seniors Travel Club, now you are, in fact, supporting the work of helping seniors. Chris?
That is so important because Brevard has so many seniors. When I reached out to the cruise lines and to the land operators, I said, look, we have two goals. Number one, we have to work with the seniors and make sure that your venue, your cruise ship can handle the senior market, special needs people. And number two, we have to offer them the best pricing that we can get to make sure that when the seniors go on board the ship or take your hotel or go on a land package, that they're getting the very best rate. And half the vendors that I talked to said, we want to support that senior market. And to boot, my third goal was to have them give back part of their profit back to the Helping Seniors of Brevard Foundation, so Joe and Kerry and Kim and the foundation can grow and help more and more seniors as they get older in the Brevard County area.
You know, and Chris and Kerry, I'm sure that, I don't know, I'm sure some of our listeners remember Larry Brewer, who was on WMMB many years ago, had a club called the Key Club, and they had a travel club, and there were several thousand people that belonged to that following of Larry's, and he talked about, and they took cruises all the time, and they had a lot of good times. And I remember talking to Larry about it so many times, and he was always so enthusiastic, and the people that took the cruises just had one heck of a good time. It was fun, structured fun.
Cruising in the Florida area, we have 6 different ports. All the cruise lines know that seniors love to travel, so they're going to do a really good job in promoting travel for the seniors. And it is, they did some surveys, Joe and Kerry, and the seniors love cruising because you unpack once for the 7 days. You see great ports that you may or may not have ever seen before, different parts of the world or different parts of the country. And it's all one price. So it's not, you don't have to stay at a hotel and unpack every night and then get on the bus in the morning, although we do those kinds of tours too for the adventurous senior. But most of the time seniors love to take cruises, and that's what the Helping Seniors of Brevard Travel Club will be offering. Great cruises and great programs that the seniors can take. And even the special needs seniors can now get out and travel that they thought that they could never do before.
That's the one thing that you hit on, and I think that many men do not like the constant packing and unpacking and loading the bus up and going to some other city, getting the bag off, taking it to the hotel room, unpacking again and trying to figure out what's clean and what's not clean. And but that's one of the big advantages, I think, the cruise ship travel, because I think about the same thing when I'm on my submarines and everything. Of course, after being on a submarine 60 days submerged, we couldn't tell the difference anyway.
Probably so. Although one of the things I tell people who've never been on a cruise before, I say, it's like staying in a 5-star hotel and your hotel wakes up in a different city every day. So that's really, and you don't have to do anything, and you don't have to worry about where you're going to go eat, because all those things are taken care of. And the way that, at least for the February 21st sailing, the way Chris has been able to work it out with MSC, I think basically just about everything is 100% included. The only thing I think you're on your own is if you take a shore excursion or maybe your alcohol tab, but I think everything else is in, right?
Yeah, MSC has given us some wonderful prices. Everything is included except for what you just said, Kerry. The liquor on board the ship, and if you take any excursions off the ship, they're not covered, but everything else, is insurance, your gratuities, your room, all your food, all the activities. And Kerry, can you tell us about the big announcement they're going to make about our special guests?
Oh, that's right. So one of the greatest things about traveling is that you get to go with friends, and you meet friends on cruise ships, and a lot of time they live in other parts of the country. But one of the great advantages of sailing with us on this cruise ship, on the 21st of February is that you'll be sailing with lots of friends from Brevard County. So, Joe, just like you were talking about when Larry Brewer had that travel club and everybody is together, it becomes like one big family. People say, hey, let's get together for dinner when we get back home. And now nobody has to hop on an airplane to go meet their new friends. We're all right here in Brevard County. And so what Chris is talking about is we reached out to somebody that we had worked with in the past because my own background is I'd done a lot of work with cruise lines and things in the past as well, which is one of the reasons I'm so excited about what we're doing at the Travel Club. But we're bringing on some specific entertainment onto the February 21st cruise. This lady has been the featured singer with the Glenn Miller Orchestra. She toured the world with Glenn Miller. She also has sang in Branson with the Les Brown Band of Renown as they had their show out there. She also has been a favorite with Buddy Morrow and the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, singing all these great big band songs. But her and her husband, they're also amazing jazz musicians. They've been featured a lot over at Heidi's Jazz Club over in Cocoa, so they're well known in this area. And probably the most interesting thing is when she was a child growing up, there was a fairly famous song that came out in the 70s. Everybody calls it the Coca-Cola song. And it was the song I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing. And Lori Hafer was one of the 5 members of the Hillside Singers who made that a worldwide hit. So she and her husband are going to be joining us on this sailing. They're going to be providing music entertainment specifically throughout. They're local to the area. They just come across from the Tampa side. But we're really excited that not only are we going to be traveling with friends from Brevard County, but we're going to have some really world-class entertainment as part of everything that's going on as well. So for dancing, relaxation, great jazz, and standards, it's going to be all part of it.
Good. And here's some of the things to think about the cruise. It's going to be all-inclusive, so again, all you have to pay for is your liquor and your excursions. It will include a great cocktail party or get-together reception. You'll get a $50 onboard credit to buy little trinkets for bringing things home to your family. And we're going to have free Wi-Fi for those seniors that like to stay in touch with the world. And we're going to be spending 2 days at their private island, which has been rated the #1 private island for all the cruise lines. It's called Ocean Cay. So that'll be a lot of fun. It's like a little mini Disneyland out in the middle of the Bahamas. So that'll be a lot of fun. All you need is a passport or a original birth certificate and your photo ID. That's all you need to get on board the ship. We have special pricing for the seniors. And if you're a corporation and like to support helping seniors in Brevard, we do have a corporate rate that you can come and make some presentations on board the ship. You want to go a little bit about that, Kerry?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we're excited about is the itinerary is a wonderful itinerary because it goes down, it calls on Georgetown, Grand Cayman, which is a beautiful place. In fact, it's the only place that I know that you can go to hell safely, because they have a town in Grand Cayman called Hell, and you go to the postcard there, you get your postcard, and you say, "Greetings from Hell. I wish you were here." It's absolutely a beautiful spot, but it is unusual. If you haven't seen it, you have to make a plan just to go to Hell. And then there's also, it calls on Cozumel, which is always a popular spot for cruises. And then, like I said, the really special thing is this Ocean Cay. So it's going to be a wonderful time. But we have these days at sea. There's a day at sea which is just relaxing on the boat, enjoying all the amenities. And we're going to make sure that we have some interesting opportunities. We've always found in the past that there's a moment people like have an hour before lunch and they want to sit down and maybe take advantage and learn some things. So we're expecting to have some Helping Senior sponsors on board who will be presenting information that's going to be useful as we cruise along. So it'll be not only fun, it'll be educational. And one other thing that I wanted to mention is that this particular ship is well set up for multi-generational activities. So one thing that we see people do a lot in the cruise business is they'll plan a family reunion around a sailing. So it'll be the grandparents and the grandkids, or they'll invite the kids down, and you'll have 30 people who end up just as a family reunion on a particular sailing.
Yeah, that seems to happen a lot now. The senior members of the family love to take their grandkids on a vacation, And MSC Cruise Lines has a great kids program on board the ship. So you're welcome to take. Don't bring your child. Bring your grandchild on board the ship. They'll have a great time. You'll have a great time. We'll have a lot of different meetings and events while we're at sea, and we're also going to have some great things on each of the ports that we visit.
You know, I'm listening to you guys are experts in travel and everything, but I happen to know a couple of things about travel too. And the one thing that's impressed me a lot about cruise ship travel over the years is that it has gotten less formal and probably more enjoyable. And isn't that true, Chris?
It has been. Instead of wearing a suit and tie to dinner nowadays, Joe, you're wearing a nice pair of jeans and a nice Hawaiian shirt. You're welcome to be any place on the ship at any time.
Okay. You guys keep throwing the names out around like Tommy Dorsey and Les Brown and his band of renown and everything. I got to ask of you, has either one of you ever danced to the Tommy Dorsey band?
Yes.
Yes.
The real Tommy Dorsey band back in 1947?
No. Buddy Morrow, who used to explain that he led the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra for more years than than Tommy Dorsey himself did. And one of the really nice things along the way, this goes into our past, but we had sailed a lot with with Buddy Morrow and Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, and Tommy Dorsey III, who was Tommy's son, had nothing to do with the music business, but he came along and he said, I love my dad's music, but he said, Buddy, I think you're doing it as good or better than Dad did.
Yeah,
So,
well, I'm talking about the real Tommy
I hear
Dorsey,
ya.
the guy that did all the famous dances, everything. He came to my little town in Kentucky after
Wow.
the war. It was in 1947. It was the seniors, not the kids like me, but the seniors all they had this big dance. Of course, our county was a dry county, and you had to take your own bottle there. And but my buddies and I snuck in along with my mother and dad and my cousin, who was a radio announcer. And I remember dancing
Wow.
with my mom to the Tommy Dorsey band.
Wow.
The real one. The
That's
one was in World War
special.
II.
That's special.
So I know a little bit about this stuff.
Well,
too.
you'll have to come on board and share those stories. Lori, like I said, who toured the world with as the featured singer with all these big bands, and her dad was a gentleman by the name of Al Hamm, who produced all of these records. He was the Columbia A&R guy, and so he produced Johnny Mathis, Tony Bennett. There's just some great stories that come out in all of this as well. So it's just a fun time to be at sea. It's relaxing. It's great. Believe me, by February 21st, 2021, we will all be ready for it.
And Joe, since I know the entertainment director over at MSC, if you give me the names of 5 of your favorite songs, I'll have the band play that, and you and your wonderful wife can dance your heart away.
I love to dance, but right now if I try to dance, I think I would fall flat on my keister.
You'll be on your new knees by then.
Yes, I would. I gave a walker. I have my walker.
So if you please reach out, if you're listening to the radio broadcast, and Kerry will tell you how to get onto the Helping Seniors of Brevard website and everything, but give us a call at 321-978-5211. Our email address is fairly simple at travelcenterusa@gmail.com. If you'd like to join us on the 221-21 cruise, if you're a senior and like to travel with us, that would be wonderful. If you're a corporation that would love to help Helping Seniors of Brevard Foundation, we'd love to have you on board also.
I think a big point to remember, Chris, is that you're catering to a senior market. You understand these people. Many of them live on a fixed budget. So we're trying to make cruises, top-of-the-line cruises, available to them at a price that they can afford, and they can really enjoy themselves. And I know that these people like to eat.
Yeah, and also the one important thing is we will have a match and meet program where if you're a single lady and you don't have a significant other, we can match you up with another single lady, and same for the men.
Right. So helpingseniourstravelclub.com is one way to access the information and just get up to speed on it. Whether hopefully you'll come along with us on February 21st, but even if you have some independent travel plans, run them past Chris and Betty, because like I said, that expertise, if you book it online and something goes a flurry, you're waiting on an 800 line with 8,000 other people trying to sort it out. Here you call Chris and Betty and say, help, what do I do about this? And it's really reassuring.
I think one of the good things about a cruise, that just from what I've read, is that you're not locked into or forced to attend any one thing. There are a multitude of entertainments aboard the ship, things that you can enjoy. And if you just want to watch a movie, or if you want to do something that is more on the quiet side, you can do anything you want to do.
Yeah, the cruise ships have, as you know, they have libraries. They have different places on the ship that you can just sit and relax. You can sit out by the pool. You can sit in a bar. You can go to the library. You can go to one of the shows that they have in the afternoon. There's about 30, 40 activities per day that a senior can take advantage of while they're on the ship. And, of course, we will have some special events also on our cruise on February 21st.
Kerry?
I just think it's so much fun. And again, one of the things that I'm excited about is that this is another way to help support the work of helping seniors, because we can't do it without your help. We need you to take a look at helpingseniorscarraffle.com, get your tickets so that you're set to join us on October 10th at the American Muscle Car Museum. That's going to be a great evening. You can also call Kim in the office at 321-473-7770, 321-473-7770. She can get you connected on the car raffle tickets, which helps support the work. She can also tell you about the new upgraded Helping Seniors directory. If you're a business that is working with seniors in this county, you'll want to ask her about that. And then, of course, she can also get you connected if you didn't get a chance to jot down Chris's number directly. She'll make sure you're able to connect with Chris as well.
And one of the things, I'm going to let Chris have the last word today, but, folks, if we seniors don't try to build our own network, we're going to be sadly lacking in the future. So we have started a senior advocacy group, and this doggone pandemic hit, and we just couldn't find meeting places or afford to bring people together, to get enough people together in a room to really tell people what we're doing. But we're going to do the senior advocacy thing, and we will talk about things about the best elements of care, how to enjoy yourself, how to go on cruises, everything. Okay, Chris, you got about a minute. You got to fill it.
Good. For those seniors and the seniors' families, if you want the best rates, we match or beat any internet rate. We donate back to Helping Seniors of Brevard Foundation. We only work with travel vendors that support the senior market. So we are 100% senior. I am proud to say that I'm a senior, so I'm working with you. Please reach out to us at 321-978-5211. And, of course, Helping Seniors of Brevard, travelclub.org.
.com for that, or helpingseniorsofbrevard.org will get you to our website, and you can navigate from there.
And call Chris or Betty anytime, even if you just want to have some information. Give us a call again, 321-978-5211.
Okay, thank you, Chris. We're going to wrap it up. We'll be back next week, and Bill Johnson, I hope, will be our guest next week. We'll be the first week of August, and I'm getting close to my knee operation. I hate to think about that. See you next week.